Today we're going to walk through Door94's member management solution for Boys and Girls Club. We'll focus on some custom forms, so we can go in and build these forms, focusing on how club admins can customize the forms, put their own brand on the forms, as well as adding required fields, looking at some of those errors, and most importantly, preventing duplicates. So the first thing when it comes to the member management solution are the types of data and the types of forms that you're going to be wanting to build to take in the right information, deduplicate the right records, and most importantly, show the right errors to the right people. So you can see in this form, adding and removing required fields is pretty easy. Just a click of a button here on that required marker, and that red asterisk will show up as a required field. You also can do all sorts of different validation on the data. So here we're making sure that the email format is coming through in our email field. This is especially important if you have some sort of custom information like a student ID number or a member ID number. We want to make sure we're taking that in the right format so we can properly deduplicate that information when we push it to Salesforce. Very easy to change the form. Everything is drag and drop, so you don't have to necessarily use a certain template. It's entirely custom for what the club admins are going to be building and sending out. With that full customization, there is the theme editor. So in the theme editor, everything here can be controlled from the look and feel, so certain colors that we're going to have, certain patterns, but most importantly, going to the advanced editing, everything about the form can be controlled. So whether that's the form title, using a certain font or a certain color, having the web page background color change, any sort of information on the sections, so like adding rounded corners to our sections, making it a little bit more approachable, changing the certain text font that you're using here, so we can update that type of information, and then save those themes so that we can use them across all of our different forms. So when we save and apply that theme, it'll always be there for us to do that later. Now, publishing this form inside the Salesforce community is pretty easy. So we'll come over to the processing options, and we'll make sure that we're only authenticating the form with those Salesforce community users, because we only want people inside the community to access the form. When we drop into this configuration, there are only two pieces we need, the form ID and the token. So we'll start with the form ID, which is right up here. Copy that, go over to our community builder, and drop in our super easy form component. So we drop that in, we'll paste in the ID, and then also grab the token, which is right here in this URL. Pretty easy for us. Again, copy that and paste that in. So you can tell we have our form there, ready to go and give it a test. So we'll publish the community, and then view that community live. And you'll notice now when we view the community, we're already logged in, we're authenticated, so that form is just going to load like any other part of the community. Go ahead and give this a test. And when we do, we can test some of the error validations that we have. So if we leave out organization, which is a required field, and try to submit, we'll get a pop-up error saying there's a problem with our submission, and it'll direct us immediately to which field that is, saying this field is required. That is an error that you can customize, so you can have that say whatever you'd like, whether you left out organization, something a little bit more casual than just an error, but it will point you right to the field that the error is occurring on. This is really important because then that way the members know what type of information they may have entered wrong, something they might need to correct, because you always want to have the right information coming through, because when pushing back to Salesforce, that will allow you to look up the right people, edit the right records, and not create duplicates every time the same person comes through the form. So really important there to highlight a few pieces of the member management solution: publishing within the community, customizing the form and the branding on the form, as well as having those club admins have total control over the errors and the data validation that we have here.